Hello, Eagle Nation. It's your elementary principal, Mr. Meyer, with another episode of Walking the Halls with the Principal. I am super excited about my next guest for this episode. She's a world-renowned author and a guru of the guided reading world. If you are a teacher, you know this name, and she is Dr. Jan Richardson. Hello, Dr. Richardson.
Good morning.
How are you? Would you like to go on a walk with the principal?
I'd love to walk with the principal.
Well, wonderful. Welcome to Weston.
Thank you.
So what brings you to Weston today?
Well, I actually worked in Taylor's class this morning doing a reading and a writing lesson.
All right.
I live about 7 miles in Ithaca, and so this is a nice, close place for me to play.
Wonderful. And it was just a sheer joy for me to observe that and see you in action, and our kids just benefited. So thank you for doing that again. That was really nice.
It was fun. Very fun.
So you live in Ithaca?
Yes, we moved here 8 years ago. My husband served in the military for 41 years, and we lived in D.C. for the last 8 years of his career. And then when we retired, my husband actually graduated from Richardson Center High School, and so he wanted to come down here to be with his mother and his brothers. So we found a nice little hideaway place in Ithaca that we really enjoyed.
When I was a young person, my grandpa took me fishing in Ithaca. That's my Ithaca connection over at the creek there. Little dam there.
Willow Creek. We actually live pretty close to that.
Okay, wonderful. So I know right where that is. Well, okay, so we have a lot of parents that are probably like wondering, from very early on when they're born, their children are born, how can I help my child, become an excellent reader? What advice would you give to a parent who just has their first child and wants to do the right thing for their child?
Yeah. Books. In fact, I have a niece who's pregnant right now with her first child, and she's having a shower. And she said, all I want are books. I don't want cards, I don't want presents, all I want are books. And I thought, that's what we need to communicate, is that the love of reading and the love of books is instilled when the child is still in the womb. So you want to read to your kids. You want to, it should be part of your life, not just when they're babies. But I was reading to my kids when they were in middle school. Reading to children and reading with kids is something you can do all the time. The second thing would be talking. Maybe having conversations about the books that you're reading, encouraging them to make predictions and connections, and then writing. So having them write, you can dictate the grocery list and they can write it down. And of course, they don't have to be spelled correctly, but encouraging them to say the word slowly and write down things. Buy in little journals that they can draw and write in. Those kinds of reading and writing activities are going to go far for you.
Well, that's fantastic advice. And so would that advice hold true to maybe a parent who maybe has a child who maybe for some reason or another, we didn't get a chance to read as often as we wanted to, and now they're in middle school. What kind of things could you offer for the middle school parent? Yes.
So for them, they need to find books that they like and they can read. I know some parents like to push classics on their middle school kids. You've got to read White Fang. Well, if their kids aren't interested in the book, or if it's too hard, they're not going to read it. And I have 6 grandkids, and one of them actually was a struggling reader. And it was so important that we found a book that he really liked. And I'll tell you, he started with Dogman books because they were funny, and I did actually some book clubs with him this summer with other upper grade boys, and they got to where they loved that. And then we moved into other chapter books and novels as well, but begin with what they like. Boys tend to like funny books. Girls tend to like more of the little romance kind of books, that kind of thing, or like horses. Find their interest, go on Amazon and get them a couple books that you would read with them. Not just go to your room and read, but we would read them together. They can read to you out loud while you're cooking supper, and then you can have a conversation about it so that you're both enjoying the book.
Fantastic advice. Okay, so I'm curious. I bet you others are too. So what does Jan Richardson like to read for fun?
Yeah. I've read more this summer than I've ever read before. Probably my go-to book is types of, I love the Bible. That's my favorite book. It's the only one I've ever read more than once. But I also like historical fiction, super important to me. But I also like nonfiction. So I just about 1/4 of the way through the Pulitzer Prize book called The Warmth of Other Suns. And it's about the Great Migration from the blacks of the South and how they moved up to the North. And I was actually raised in Detroit, so I was kind of part of the very end of that Great Migration. And it's just kind of like, books are either mirrors, they're windows, and they're sliding glass doors. And this book is definitely a window. It's letting me see a different part, because I had never lived in the South, so it's letting me see a different culture and what it was like. So I really like mostly true books, but I do like a lot of Amish fiction books, because we do live in Amish country.
Yes.
So I have a variety. I have a lot of different books that I've read this summer.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. I appreciate you going on this walk with me today. I always end my videos, well, before I end my video, we got to do 3 things.
Okay.
So, if you could, give me one person, one place, and one thing that connects you to Weston, or that you love about Weston.
Okay, so the person is definitely my favorite is Twyla. I've known Twyla since we moved here, and I just so respect her as a reading specialist, as a learner. She is so passionate about helping children, and that's why I have this connection to Weston, is through Twyla. The place, this is only my 2nd time at the school. The only other time I came was during the craft show, which I loved, and I hope you're doing it again. I still have some of those crafts in my house. I use my potato bag all the time. And I guess the thing is, I know you're rivals with Ithaca, and I heard on the news coming here that there's going to be a volleyball game. And I thought to myself, oh, I'm going to go, but they don't let any spectators go. So when spectators start to go, I will support. So I live in Ithaca, but I'm really getting to be attached to Weston.
Okay, thank you for playing 3 things. I end my videos in a traditional way here. So I'm going to say soar, eagle, soar, and you're going to say eagle pride.
Okay.
All right, so soar, eagle, soar.
Eagle pride.